Welcome back. In this video, we will learn how we can create a footer section and add footer settings and move from there. So let me close these pages here and let's go to the sections. So remember, we created a header group, okay, and then we also created a header.liquid. The header group represents this part here, okay, header group. So it is everything that's repeating in every single page. So if I go to the product page, I'm gonna have this same design here, the header, the logo, and the announcement bar. Depends on your design, of course. All right, so we want to have the same kind of type of group to be for the footer, where we can have our footer represented like this. If I go to the official website, so they have like this kind of announcement here, newsletter here as well, and then the footer. Okay, so if I go for example to some page here, as you can see, we have the header that it's repeating, and if I scroll down, we have the newsletter here and the footer. All right, so this newsletter and the footer is repeating in every single page. So let's replicate this inside our Shopify theme. So first, we're going to create what is called a group. So this time, remember, we can have three kinds of group. We can have the header, we can have the footer, and we can have the aside. You can, I believe you can create even different kind of group here, but as long as your type here accepts one of the following: the header, footer, or the aside. All right, so let me go back to the section. Let's create a file. We're gonna call it footer.group. The name, it's very up to you. What is important is the .json first of all inside the section directory, and then when you're creating your root here, you need to make sure that the type has one of the following, just like we said earlier. So either the header, either the footer, either the aside. Okay, but in our case, we're going to use the footer, and then we're gonna give it a name. So the name is going to be footer group, and then we're gonna give it a sections, and this section waiting for some object, and then we're gonna create an order, and this expecting some array. So if I save it now, we're going to see nothing change, obviously. What we can do now, we're gonna add this group inside the theme.liquid. So let's go to theme.liquid, and this is the object that's injecting every pages inside the from the theme, from the template. Okay, because every template code that we're gonna have here is going to be injected through this content for layout. All right, and so we need now to add this header group after the content for the layout. So I'm just gonna copy this code here, and I go after the content for layout, and just to change the name here, footer group, and this name is pointing the file that we made here, footer.group. Okay, so if you call it, johndoe.json, so you need to have here John Doe without the extension. So I'm going to save it. Let's go back to our code. Let's go back to the developer editor, and as you can see, we have now the footer group appearing. If I go back and I remove this section, let's save it, we're going to see the footer group disappearing. It's not there anymore. So let's go back, let's bring it back, let's save it, let's close the theme.liquid, and let's go back here, and we have the footer.liquid. Perfect. Let's go to the theme where I took the design. So they have this newsletter here, okay, and they have this footer here, and even a sub footer. Let's call it a sub footer. Okay, forgive me if I'm wrong. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to look for this code here, this newsletter code. I'm going to look for that. What's going on? Yeah. So this code, I'm going to look for that inside my GitHub. So if you go to my GitHub repository, you go to public, you go to components, you go to footer.html, and you have the news here, and you have the footer right here, and we have some separator right here. So let's copy from the end news and all the way up. Let's copy that. So I will come to the sections. I'm gonna create a file. I'm gonna call it newsletter, or letters, doesn't matter, .liquid, and I'm going to paste this newsletter code right there. All right, and then I will go again, and I'm gonna copy the footer, but let's start from the HR here and all the way down. I'm gonna copy that, and I'm gonna come to the sections directory, and I'm gonna create footer.liquid. Okay, and I'm going to paste code I just created. So now we need to link these new files inside our footer group. So to do it, we need to create it inside at least to reference that inside the sections attribute here. So I'm gonna do that. So let's start with the first one is newsletter. So we need to create what is called a setting ID. Okay, so this setting ID is just a random ID that you're creating. So we can call it newsletters. Okay, and this setting ID, we take an object, and inside is expecting a type, if I'm not mistaken, and this type must be a name that exists inside that sections here. And remember, you can give any name that you want here. You can reference any sections inside the sections directory. Okay, we can reference the header if you want to. It will not make sense, but you can do that. Okay, so we have the newsletter here, so I'm going to reference the newsletters file without the extension, and then we have the second one is going to be the settings. Okay, so the settings is going to be some object, and we can also expect some blocks, why not? Okay, and we'll also take some objects, and we can leave it like this. Let's save it. Let's verify our terminal to see if there are some mistakes. Seems like yes. Let me close this one. So they say the newsletter must exist in order. There you go. So we need to give this newsletter ID, setting ID, inside the order. So like this. So we save it, and let me check again the error, and we are golden. So now let's add the footer itself. So again, the same process. We're gonna create a setting ID. So this is just a random name, all right? And it's going to take an object. It's expecting a type, and this type right here must be a file that exists, and we called ours footer, okay, for this case, and we expect to give it some settings right here, some object, and we can stay like this. Okay, and then don't forget to add the footer inside the order like this, and let's save it. And if I go back to our editor right here, as you can see, the code is already appearing. Okay, so we have the newsletter right here, and we have the footer right here. And if I go to the large screen, or I mean to the screen here, we can see all of this appearing without any drama. All right, so on the next video we will try now to make some information here to be dynamic. So I will stop right here, and I see you in the next one.